Number 20 in our mail ordering API in Laravel, and in this tutorial we are going to first fix an issue which we talked about in the last tutorial. We are able to delete mails from our menus table or from the menu, but that code was allowing even the user to be able to delete mails on menu, yet that task must only be for the administrator. So let us first go back inside our menu controller. In the destroy function, as you are seeing, we are going to implement an if statement. We are going to get this block of code and we are going to use it in the destroy function. So we shall say if that, let me first end it and explain, else we shall throw a JSON response saying that you do not have admin rights. So this one is going to be a message. So this is going to be a message. Now we shall say this task is only allowed to admin users. So let us see what the code is telling us. So we are saying if auth user type is equal to admin, meaning that once the logged in user is an administrator, this block of code must get executed. Else, if the user type is not the administrator but a mere user, we shall throw a JSON response in the form of a message saying that this task is only allowed to admin users. So let us first go back and test that. So inside our postman, let me log in as a mere user. So let us go inside our DB, inside the users table. As you are seeing, this is a user, and let me just get this email address. I'm going to use this to test the endpoint. So I'm sorry for that. So let us provide the email, and the password for all users was password, as you remember. So let us log in. Okay, we never started our server. So let me start our server. PHP artisan serve. So after starting our server, let us go back and hit the endpoint for login. As you are seeing, the logged in user, now the user type is user, meaning that we do not want this user to be able to delete anything from the menu. So let us provide this. Let me just duplicate the tab and we go on the delete endpoint. So we visit menus. So let us check the endpoint for that. Inside routes API, we use the menu. So inside the postman, we must provide the menu. And as you are seeing inside our database in the menus table, I want to effect the ID2 to try to delete a mail with ID2. So I will provide it 2, and I provide my token which I obtained from the auth or from the login. So once I try to hit, as you are seeing, a message is brought back. This task is only allowed to admin users. So this block of code, let us go back inside the menu controller. So this block of code, this one here, is the one which was triggered because the logged in user is not an administrator. So let us try to log in as admin users to see what happens. So for the administrator, let us provide the email address. It was admin@gmail.com and the password was 123 admin. 123 admin. So we log in. Now the logged in user is an administrator. So let us just get the token. Once we get that token, we go inside delete and we pass in the token. Once we hit send, automatically we are seeing that deleted successfully, meaning that this mail with ID2 was deleted. So let us try to refresh the database, and as you are seeing, the mail was gone. So we have been able to fix that issue, that only the administrator is allowed to delete a mail from menu. So let me go back and commit to Git. As you are seeing, Git is tracking. So we shall say Git add with a period, and I shall say Git commit -m. Then I will say added validation for only admin to delete a mail from the menu. On the destroy function of the menu controller. So our commit message is saying added validation if only admin to delete a mail from the menu on the destroy function of the menu controller. So let me hit. So now, as you are seeing, the project tree is clean. Our next task, we are going to add a new test, and this test is going to be used to update a mail on a menu. So I'm going to just get into our test controller to make a test for that. So we come to the menu, test controller, and let us get this block of code. This is a test for the administrator to create a new mail. So I'm going to just get this block of code and I duplicate it for the update function or the update functionality. So I'm going to just change the test that admin can update a mail on menu. Admin can update a mail on menu. So that is the name of our test. And the only change you are going to make is to change it from post to put, because remember, update will use put, and we are going to provide the ID of the mail. So we're going to use ID number 3. That is the ID of the mail we are trying to update. So let us try to go and commit to Git. So we shall say Git add, then Git commit -m, then we say added test, added a new test for update functionality. Inside the menu testing controller. So we commit to Git, and after committing, we are clean. So after adding our test, so in the test we are saying this without exception handling, because we want to return all the errors and analyze. So we are creating a new user by using the factory, and we are applying this user we are creating with the factory onto our endpoint. So for that, Let us try to run the test and see what we get if we run the test. So to run the test, we said we make period vendor stroke of bin stroke of PHP unit. Then we run tests stroke of feature stroke of controllers stroke API stroke our file for the test is called menu test controller .php. So we run, it is saying cannot open, meaning that controllers. Okay, let me first see a clear path. We are having tests feature HTTP. We missed out HTTP. From future we are having HTTP. So let us go back and clear that. From future we had missed out HTTP. So let us see it. And again, something is not okay. Now let me see, we are having tests feature tests feature HTTP. From HTTP we have controllers API menu controller test API menu. Okay, we spelled the name of the file incorrectly, so it is menu controller test, not menu test controller. Menu controller test.php. Then we run the test again, and as you are seeing, for now the test, we are trying to run 5 tests inside that test file, and you are seeing 4 tests are passing, but 1 test is not passing. So it is saying update does not exist inside the menu controller. So let us go inside the menu controller and we implement the update function. So just before the guard function, I will say public function update, and for that I'm going to pass in a request $request, and I will also pass in the ID of the mail I would like to update. And after that, I'm just going to employ the same code we used for the store function. For the store function, let us just get that block of code. We are going to just modify something little to use the same code for our update logic. So we get the block of code for the store function and we just paste it inside the update. So we shall just change the message that menu update failed. Menu update failed in case the code fails to update the mail or menu. And once it accepts, we shall say mail details on menu updated successfully. And another block of code to change. Now you remember we are passing in the ID of the mail to get updated here, and instead of creating a new object or instance for the menu, we shall just say menu is equal to menu Then facade, I use the find function. Facade find, and we shall find a mail from the menus table with the ID which we are passing in. So after that, this block of code, instead of creating a new mail, it will find a mail inside the mails table with the ID we are passing in, and it will just update the mail with such ID. So let us try to run the test again to see, but before that, let me first commit to Git. Okay, let us commit to Git. So I will say clear. I will say git add with a period. Then we commit, we say git commit -m. We put our commit message. We shall say added update function to the menu controller. So we added the update function, and for now the project tree must be clean. So sometimes it takes some time for the change to take place, but indeed it's clean. So now, after that, let us try to run the test again to see whether the test passes this time. And as you are seeing, now our test is passing. We are running 5 tests inside this file, and all the tests are passing. We are having 5 assertions. So after testing that, our test is passing, meaning that our block of code must now go back, must now be able to update a mail on the menu. So for that, let us go inside the Postman, and as you are seeing, instead of hitting the delete, let us put the put method, and we are going to update a mail with the ID of 3. Let us provide the JSON for that. Remember, we only need one field, which is mail name, and we must provide a valid mail. So let us check inside our database. We are having supper, so we must provide supper. We want to update mail for supper, so let us provide supper. Before we run the update, let us see the price of the meal is 4,500, but we are getting inside supper, it is this. Inside the meals table, it is this. So now, if let me just try to update this, the price of the meal inside the meals table. Let me call it 6,000, the price of supper. After updating that, inside the meals table, inside the menus table, we should still have this. But once we try to update the meal on menu, remember we are fetching the details of the meal from the meals table. And inside the meals table, we have changed the price for supper, meaning that once we run update function on the menu or the menus table, this price must get updated. So if we see that this price is updated, we just get to know that our update function is running perfectly. So let me just, as you are seeing inside the update function, in our validator, we only need one field, which is meal name. And once we provide the meal name, it will fetch the meal details from the meals table, and it is going to use those details inside the menu controller of the meal. So let us just try to run that endpoint. So once I hit send, automatically you are seeing it is saying meal details on menu updated successfully. So meaning that this block of code, let me show you the block of code which was executed. This block of code was executed, meaning that we were able to find a mail with ID 3 and we updated it. So let us try to refresh and see. And as you are seeing perfectly, our update function is running. And inside this, it is validated that if the user is an administrator, go ahead and update. But if the user is not an administrator, it will throw this message saying that you do not have admin rights. So let us try to update the mail when we have logged in as users. So for users, let us first go inside the users table and we get this email address. So let me provide that inside Postman. So the password was password for the users. So let us send to get a new token for the user. After getting this token, let us copy the token and we put the token inside the endpoint for the put or the update. Now let us try to run update on this. As you are seeing, it is saying you do not have admin rights to access this resource. So now, as you are seeing, we are segregating the rights between the user and the administrator. The user must only view mails on a menu, but he must not be able to update a mail on the menu or to delete a mail on the menu. For instance, if we try to just view, let us get a mail with ID 3. You see, this user is able to get or to see the mails on the menu, but he cannot update. He can get a single mail on menu, he can get all mails on menu, but once it comes to modification or altering any detail on the mail, that is already right for the administrator. Now, for this tutorial, we have completely worked on the menu functionality of the mail. In the next tutorial, we are going to start working on the ordering functionality of the mail, whereby the user will come, sees the menu or the meals on the menu, orders for a certain meal, and after making the order, automatically the user will be able to receive an email notification as well as an SMS notification. So for that, we shall be using a mail trap. So in the next tutorial, we shall go on our Jira board. We update the Jira board. After updating the Jira board, we visit mailtrap.com. We register a new email account or a testing email account, as we are going to be using Mailtrap for the email notifications, and we shall also go onto the Nexmo or the Vonage API to register for a new account, because we shall be using Vonage or what we call Nexmo for the SMS notifications, and we shall be working on the ordering of the API. And after making the logic for the ordering, we shall implement the payment, whereby the user will be able to pay for the meals via PayPal, via Paytm, and mobile money as well. So thanks for watching. Let us meet in the next tutorial. Do not forget to like, subscribe.